Hirokazu Kore-eda's Shoplifters, which is the Cannes Prize winner, a Japanese film, which starts with we're introduced to a man and a boy, and they are basically going around the shops, shoplifting. There's this funny little finger rolling gesture that they do to indicate that they're about to steal something. They're clearly working as a team. The man has obviously taught the boy how to do this. And they live in a very, very poor corner of Tokyo. They live in a very, very sort of shambolic, but apparently loving environment in which there is an elderly woman, a kind of grandmother figure. There is a young woman who may be a sister, maybe a daughter. There is a partner of the man. So there's a sort of family unit. You're not entirely sure how the family all relate, but they seem to be functioning as a family. And one day, coming home from the old woman, she works in laundry, and the man works on construction nominally. But one day, coming home from shoplifting with the young boy, they see a girl who appears to be cold and starving and bruised and neglected. And so the guy says, "Oh, well, come with us. Come to our home." And they bring her back home, and they give her food, and they take care of her. And his partner, his wife says, "But this is, people are going to come looking for her." I mean, and he says, "No, they're neglectful parents. They're not going to wander." And so what they do is they take the girl and they cut the girl's hair and they give the girl another name. And the next thing, the girl has become part of their family unit. And the next thing is that she is being taught how to do the shoplifting. You see her learning the kind of strange hand-rolling gesture. And what's really fascinating about the film is this. The director said that he was inspired because he had heard stories about so-called kind of domestic crimes, domestic violence, such as somebody continuing to receive a pension after their partner has passed on. And he said what he couldn't understand was the way in which people were really angry about those kind of domestic crimes, when actually those crimes were sort of pretty minimal in comparison with some of the other things that were going on in the world. And he was also, he's a director who time and time again returned to the idea of family, what family means, what constitutes a family. And what's fascinating about this story is, on the one hand, there is a story, with the central story is basically a story of abduction, that there is a young child who goes missing. And the next thing is, on the background in the news, we hear that the child is missing and the authorities are looking for her. But actually what the point of view that the film is taking is from this other sort of strange family unit in which she is being cared for and she is being looked after. And that story could easily be told as a horror story or as a thriller or as something that was deeply, profoundly disturbing. And that theme is. But what the film is actually about is about the small moments of relationships between this kind of disparate group of characters, all of whom have been pushed to the margins of society, all of whom have effectively been abandoned by whichever situation they were in, whether it's family or whether it's jobs or whether it's money or whatever it is. You have this strange unit of people who have been pushed absolutely outside of the main caring body of society and have formed something that appears to be a functioning family unit. And yet that functioning family unit is involved in shoplifting, is involved in crime, is involved in, you could see the central male character played by Lily Frankie, you could see him as a kind of as a modern day Fagin, taking in street kids and teaching them how to, pick a pocket or two. And what I really love about this film is that it's all to do with character, and it's all to do with character being demonstrated by the way in which these characters interact, and it's what they don't say rather than what they do say. And to bring this whole program full circle, if we go back to my review of Luca Guadagnino's version of Suspiria, and I was saying my problem with it is not that it's a remake of Suspiria. My problem is that it's a film in which everyone talks the plot all the time. And I keep saying this, I want cinema to be cinematic. I want to see things happening on screen, and I want the storytelling to work visually rather than to work as like a radio play that just happens to have pictures around it. And in the case of Hirokazu Kore-eda's Shoplifters, it does exactly that. And it's a film which walks this knife edge between different genres. It's strangely gentle, and yet there is this real grit and underlying darkness behind it. It's a film which questions motives all the time. Is a character trustworthy or utterly untrustworthy? Is there something admirable about them, or are they somebody who's completely, without that? And it did what I want cinema to do. It introduced me to characters and a circumstance, and it made me believe in them, and it put me in their world, and I thought it was really good.
Adam in Enfield, I think you're going to be...